Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's Tuesday, November 1st. Lots of things happen on November 1st. I'd like to wish you happy National Authors Day. I put that on my calendar every year to remind me because we often get caught up with the NanoWriMo hoo-wah and forget to celebrate ourselves right at the beginning. So there you go. If you're an author, celebrate yourself today. Yes. Today I'm actually doing my TBR, which is my normal first video of the month. And it's a little crowded this week because there's lots of stuff to get through, including my interview with Jenna Blum on A Mighty Blaze. I'm very excited. We're going to be talking about fabled passages, which I can't see this. You can see it down there. In my special customized StreamYard background, call me if you want one. So I'm very excited about that. Let me actually pop that into the chat. I prepared. I really did. That's the link for Jenna on my channel. And then the last appearance of the launch is going to be on Paper Lantern Writers channel. So Jenna is on Thursday and Paper Lantern Writers is on Sunday. I'm doing an appearance there instead of my own regular Sunday video. And in case you don't know, Paper Lantern Writers is a author collective, mostly in Northern California. I think there's a couple in nearby states, but mostly sort of Western authors and historical fiction. So, niche. So that's what's coming up for me. What's coming up for you guys? I know today is a super streaming day. Everyone is doing things. Everyone is all over the place like a chicken with its head cut off, but I'm glad you're here. And I just wanted to say hi and thank you to the people who are stopping in. Hey, RC. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Andy. Yes, very busy, Shannon says. My interviews, I can skip those. Hey, Sako. Hello. And she says, happy Nano. Oh, I like that profile pic. Happy Nano, happy National Author Day. So my theme for today, November, TBR, PoP. In case you don't know, that is to be read. Pile of possibilities. And as you can see, I've got some fall things, I've got some crystal ball things, and a broom to sweep everything together. So let me tell you what I mean. Just like October, I am going to be focusing on 2 readathons in November, just like I did last year. They're great readathons run by very experienced and wonderful booktubers. One is Nonfiction November, run by A Book Olive, and her information is down below. And one is Skoden, which is new this year, but it's sort of picking up where Indigathon left off. So Nonfiction November, obviously choosing nonfiction books to read with some random word association prompts. So we'll get to those in a second. And Skoden is from Let's Go Then, which is said in a native accent, sort of generalized to include all the indigenous people writing books. So we're looking for indigenous writers. And so those two can be combined. And so we're going to look for that sweet spot as well as some for each separate. Yes, pop any questions in the chat if you're interested. Both of their information both of their kickoff videos are down below. There we can go. Subject, verb, agreement. Shannon has the stream later. Shannon, if you want to drop your productivity sprint for Nano in the comments, feel free. Yes. Sako has Shannon's stream on Notify. Yes, that is a special rarefied air. I know. I only do those for ones that I'm like, don't want to miss. I would ask to be on it if it wasn't packed already. Yeah. Yep. Gotta hop off. Catch people on the YouTubes. Thanks, Andy. Okay. So, let's see, readathons, the 4 words for Nonfiction November. We've got record or record, depending on how you want to say it. We've got element, we've got border, and we've got secret. Ooh, but what's the first thing on my TBR? I know some of you will love this. I still need to do my voting. So this is definitely Oof. Stinky paper. This is definitely on my TBR. Okay, let's get back to the thread here. So record. Oh, Shanna doesn't have the link. Okay, well, I will get it later then while I'm asking you the question of the day. Yes, I'll grab the link. So record is definitely a good prompt for historical writers. One of my research books that I haven't read yet. So this is what I do if I haven't read it yet. I put a little tag on it because I have all my research books together on my desk shelf. This is called Furrow Behind Me by Angus MacLellan, translated by John Lauren Campbell. Translated from what, you asked? Oh, that would be the Scottish Gaelic. Yes. This is one of my Queen of Books You've Never Heard Of books. And basically, this is the 1880s, 1890s, 1900s record of a guy who was a crofter on a Western Isle in Scotland, and sort of funny stories and folklore and basically what you would hear on a night in the pub if you were listening to this guy 100 years ago. And that is really helpful for getting language rhythms, for getting regional words, and for getting sort of the sense of the humor of a different culture that you're trying to write. And because this is both a different culture and a different era, that's something that I definitely need to do. And because my novella prequel is the next thing I'll be working on, I need to get back into this register from my historical fantasy register. You sort of need to switch gears, right? So yes, very excited about that for record. The other thing for record or record, this is a maybe. This is a pile of possibilities, but I found this book in my local store and I thought, oh my gosh, this could be really good, interesting. So it's called Sticking to the Union by Sandy Polishuk, an oral history of the life and times of Julia Rutilla. And she seems like, what's the word to describe? Is it something with steam? How do you describe a fireball? There's a word to describe like a woman who looks unassuming, but like really has the willpower and the stick-to-itiveness of a great person. And that's how I would describe her, although I can't think of the name right now. And I think the author wrote this in the 90s, but she met this labor activist in the 60s. And she has been active since the 1910s, 1920s. And so I was really interested in that earlier history in Oregon. Strikes, politics, intrigue, timber barons, like it's a little later than I want to write about. I want to write about 1900s, but I think it will be very interesting to read, and maybe I'll skip around. But yeah, for a record, for my region, thought that would be a good one. Yeah, Shannon trying to get my back to last the day. Oof. Okay, so those are my two for record for nonfiction. For element. Wait, let me see. I matched these up. How did I do this? Oh, there we go. Okay, so I just put this one on a list and didn't get to it. So this is going to be pulling back out. One Dark Body by Charlotte Watson Sherman. I think this is going to be like a modern classic. It's from the 90s, I believe. And it's by a person who is in the Pacific Northwest. So we've got a battle between her father's ghost and her living mother. Family story. Survival of two unwanted children who join forces with an elderly folk healer. So it's very interesting. It's got a lot of elements that I'm excited to see how they're pulled together by someone who I've not heard talked about much at all. So that's going to be my element, because the beginning of this book, I peeked at it. It's a sort of dream view of someone or something coming up from the bottom of a lake and like a body washing up. But is it a body or is it a spirit that's come to haunt? So I think that just brings me Element vibes. So I'm excited to like dive into that one for a readathon. Hopefully that will make me get to it and stick to it. So that's Element. Then we have Border, and I've got a perfect one for Border, a book that I actually bought new. It's called A Map is Only One Story, 20 Writers on Immigration, Family, and the Meaning of Home. So, One Dark Body is fiction, not nonfiction. That's okay. I'm going to cheat. This gets back to nonfiction, though. I got this new. It's lots of different populations talking about immigration in America and I think other places. Published by Catapult magazine, which is like a really admired publication. So, yes, I'm also doing sort of maybe short story. I'm doing more short stories because I wrote one. So I'm like, I don't know, getting more into them, yeah. So anything else I should say? From rediscovering an ancestral village in China to experiencing the realities of American life as a Nigerian, the search for belonging crosses borders and generations. So, I think I'll definitely relate to some of these more than others, but I think it should be an interesting subject, and got some interesting editors, Nicole, Chung, and Mensah Demary. So, yeah, see what they pulled together. I'm already cheating. I hope this is okay with everybody. So the final word is secret. And again, I've got 2, but only 1 really qualifies. So, all right. We're finally going to read Braiding Sweetgrass. So I've had this for a year and I've heard about it for over 2. So Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I read her previous book and loved it. It's about moss, and so I'm pretty sure I'm going to love this too. It's a big book, but her voice is so easy to listen to that I think it'll go pretty quickly, and I might have to like slow down and take a break to absorb it because there's going to be a lot of good stuff in here. So yay, finally. Here we go. Get a little better lighting. I'm probably like the last person on BookTube to read that, so that's fine. I put that in secret, not because it's not a well-known book, because of course it's very well-known, but because I think there's going to be a lot of, it's not ancestral knowledge, it's like things that people used to know but have forgotten that need to be learned and used again. And so I feel like the secret resources are going to be coming back and aiding humanity. Maybe, if we're smart. So that's the secret. And then I've got 1 more nonfiction that I started in October, and I'm going to keep reading. This is The Social Thought of Jane Addams, edited by Christopher Lasch. So it's writings of Jane Addams, who is a Chicago activist and suffragist and philosopher, and more on research for my Chicago novel, but also just really interesting. She just brought up something about usefulness and how people need to feel useful in life to feel connected to their community. And I was like, you're not wrong, Jane. Like, yeah. So there's lots of good things to be had in a writing from 120 years ago. Who knew? So yeah. Okay, so that was the last nonfiction. And then the one that I'm putting in my TBR for Skoden is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. So I'm breaking the barrier of Stephen Graham Jones. He's super hyped in the Indigenous lit community, horror writer. It's a revenge novel. There's spooky elements. I'm sort of scared to read it, but we're going to do it. We're going to see how far I get. I've seen other people are reading this as well. I just saw someone in a video this morning. So we'll see. Hopefully at the toe that I'm dipping into the horror pool, I won't go too far astray. So yes, If you know my channel and you've read this book, let me know what you think, how I'll do. Ugh. We'll see. I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be technically excellent. I'm just afraid it's going to like seriously affect me. Nonfiction books affect me and can feel really like heavy on my heart when the subject is very heavy. But a horror book, I haven't read one. So we'll see. I just read a short story. So yeah. Shannon asks, is the living ghost a metaphor for being haunted by someone's memories? In One Dark Body? Maybe. I don't want to speculate too much because I don't want to read ahead. I'm not one of those readers, but that could be a really good interpretation. We'll have to see. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully in my December wrap-up, you will find out. Yeah, it's fiction. I'm cheating. Sako says, I heard about braiding Sweetgrass. It's popular in the witch scene. Oh, nice. Okay. So there's probably the elements that are appealing to the witch scene are the ancestral knowledge and the sort of spiritual learnings that people have passed down in Robin Wall Kimmerer's community about Sweetgrass and sort of the relationship between the natural world and us humans, which are part of the natural world but often forget. So yeah, great. Shannon says, our human struggles seem to be timeless with little learned from the past, at least not learned well enough. True dat. Jim says, cheaters never prosper. We say cheaters. Is your expression actually cheats never prosper? Has less of a ring to it because of the cadence. Shannon's laughing. Very much so. Yeah, about the appeal of breeding Sweetgrass. Very cool. Okay, so those are my reads. I think those are manageable. I am also traveling. I am also editing a book. But those are like the TBR reads. Now, these are the maybes that I have on the list that are more pile of possibilities feeling. We've got Chicago Socialism, The People's History. Look at that picture. Doesn't she look amazing? I think this is like 1910s, and there's this little lady up on a box ranting at the crowd, and I love that energy. So it's a short book, and I've already sort of like thumbed through it, but I haven't read it. So that might be a good one to take with me down to California. I got this book when I was in Chicago. It's called Chicago Neighborhoods and Suburbs, A Historical Guide. And I definitely remember paging through it and going, I don't know, is this like chunka really going to be worth buying? Because it was a little expensive. And I bought it, but now that I'm looking back through it, the maps at the beginning are a very cool section of like infographics where it's maps that cover statistical information. So if you don't know what that means, let me try to explain it with a picture. I can't explain it with words. So you know what a map is. But like they use the map concept sort of loosely. So like changing origins of metropolitan Chicago's foreign-born population. And they show you kind of like a graphic of the different countries people come from and where they're situated. That is probably fed into by Jane Addams' maps when she had people go door to door and ask where they came from, and put it on a map of like actual houses, and like gave a whole generation of sociologists something to play with. So that's probably why I got this. But then the essays afterwards are all on different topics and much more contemporary. So I might have to like skip around. But it looks really interesting. So that's a maybe. And then, yes, an interesting month of reads. Yep. Sako and Shannon are conversing. Okay. And then the last maybe that I was like, oh, it sounds so good. It's called The Prelude to Populism, Origins of the Silver Issue, 1867 to 1878. And I've gone back as far as Reconstruction, 1860 1860s, 1870s to try to get a handle of what was coming out of the Civil War and how that shaped the Gilded Age, because my novel is set in the Gilded Age. But this is actually looking at economics. I think the book is from the let's check. The book is from 1970. Okay. But they treat a lot of primary sources from the 1870s, 100 years before, about what people understood about the silver issue. And then the 1890s, what people understood was often wrong, and how they were framing the political debate about the economics was wrong. Or so this person says. So I'm very curious about this, but it's going to take a lot of slogging through. Because, like, again, the register, there's one for Scottish islands in the 1820s and 30s. There's one for historical fantasy and that sort of mode. And then there's the economics hat I put on, and I'm like, okay, how do I understand the inflation and the supply and the first mover advantage and monopoly, and like all that stuff is in there. It just takes a second. It takes a few seconds. So let me put up the question of the day for y'all, and then I'll go grab Shannon's sprint. Here we go. So I can get the link. The question is, sorry, Shannon, who's laying down. The question is, what's the one word you think of when November rolls around? Like, when you think November, what feeling do you get? And give me a word to that feeling. Oh my gosh, it is packed. 4 p.m. Central, so that's 2 p.m. for me. So that's like in a couple hours. Shannon's sprint. We're hoping that she lasts the day. I'm going to go ahead and like while I'm here on the page. And grab the link. There's also a whole page of links, a spreadsheet, if you will. That Kat Leo and Devin Cutting have been putting together. All the AuthorTuber channels, all the AuthorTuber sprints, and they do a different tab for each day, and it's wonderful. So I will grab that. I may put that in the description later because it's open on the other computer, and I don't want to spend too much time chewing the scenery. So Shannon. Today. Here we go. Oh, book time with Ryan. Hello. Got a reader saying, I'm reading my first Western ever. Not sure how that happened. Yeah. Can't remember what it was called. The Lost Who Wander or Lost. There's some sort of play on words, and it was an Amazon imprint, and I read that, and it was pretty good. It was long, and it was a saga, but it was really well written. It's on my story graph. I can't remember the title exactly, but it's like 4 words in script over a scene. I don't read that many. I still haven't read, what's the classic? The one with the TV show. The one that's a whole series. Well, we'll get to it. Jim says polls are popular on community tabs. Yes. I put a poll up on my community tab recently. I also asked on Twitter. Definitely got more responses on the community tab, which is interesting. I got a funny response on Twitter, which was Beth Ann, and she said, I hope it's not number 2. I was like, it is number 2. Why does she not like that phone case design? In case you don't know, I put up a poll on which phone case design I was getting because I was on Redbubble for A.F. Stewart's Redbubble shop. She does a lot of really cool designs, a lot of things like writer theme related stuff. And one of them, several of them struck my eye, and I thought, oh, I'll ask who likes what. And I ended up deciding before I got any votes, but I put it up anyway. But yeah, and Beth Ann did not like the one I chose. What you gonna do? I think we're mixing up community tabs with reading Westerns. That's okay. I'm assuming it'll make a difference. Oh, it's just further back in the chat. Got it. Okay. I just got the community tab. Yay! And then Jim was telling you. Okay. See, I don't rewind far enough in the chat. This is my problem today. The book is A Distant Trumpet by Paul Horgan. That's the one he's reading, I suppose. Form of communication. Jim read 4 Westerns in the summer because of Michael K. Vaughan's June on the Range. Yep, different readathon. I'm too busy writing to read work that isn't my own. Okay. The Virginian was a TV show. Nope, not the one I'm thinking of. Lonesome Dove. That's it. Lonesome Dove is the one I was thinking on. Thank you for spurring me. Oh! Spurring me to think of the right one. You get that Western fun? Oh, look! I talked about her, and now she's here. Anita's back from the dentist to catch them both alive. I just pimped your Redbubble shop, Anita, because I was very excited about the new phone case. It's shipped, so I'm now just like waiting for it to come. What else do we have here? I'm talking about TBR PoP for November. I've gone through nonfiction. I've gone through Skoden. I've gone through the prompts. I had some like fun stats from the book launch. I've got 5 giveaways that are down, and I've got 3 left to go. So in case anyone is looking for an ebook that's like, oh, wait, why? Anyway, it's in the bottom left corner of your screen, should be. Ebook giveaway. So the last one is running until Thursday night at midnight, which is technically Friday. And just leave a comment on the author panel that I had with Leah Engstman and EDK. That should be fun. We were talking all about short story collections, which writers might be curious about. Leave a comment. You're entered to win one of our 3 books. So you'll get to choose when I pull that up. Also, I'm going to be doing 2 giveaways on Jenna's stream. One will be while you watch, one will be after, and probably a giveaway on Edie's. Paper Lantern Writers is hosting me on Sunday. So that is all in the chat. Giveaways to come. Very exciting. Prizes awarded. I've got 1 prize done. I've got 3 in process, and I've got 1 more to go because people are busy, so it's taken a while. But we're getting there. Prizes are being awarded, which is very exciting for me. That's basically it for my November plans. I've got other goals. One of them is reviewing. I just put up a review post. So basically, gratitude month, Thanksgiving. It's good to leave a review for your favorite books. So if you like a book, or if you just want to be honest in a review, we support that too. Please leave a review. It does wonders for your author friends. Ryan says Lonesome Dove is on my list for the future. He says, it's amazing to me the time period of Westerns because they feel so long ago, but weren't that long ago. I watched Last of the Mohicans, and that's 100 years before Westerns. That's true. That's true. It's definitely collapsed, I think, in my mind. When I think about Leah Engstman, who was on that panel that I just mentioned that we had live last Friday, she writes 1600s, colonial America. And I think, and I feel like it's got to be 18th century, but it's not. It's 100 years before there were white people here interacting with indigenous populations and trying to survive. It's just like, wow, there's a lot of time there that I have no knowledge of. So she does an excellent job in her historical fiction, if you're curious, Ryan. You might drop a comment and get her book. Who knows? Jim says, I've just got 2 nonfiction books on my TBR for November. Edward Hopper by Gail Levin, I assume it's biography, and Mind Ma Mastery by Tony Buzan. I have no clue what that one would be about. Oh, map. Okay. Mind map mastery. Interesting. So you're reading a map book for November as well. Nicely done. Did anyone give me an answer to the question? I don't think so. November feels. Anyone in there November feels? Oh, Shannon did. Okay. Fantastical. I get to get lost in my world. Oh, so you're focusing on nano, and then that brings you to fantastical. Nice. I like it. Oh, Jim says remember, I think is his word. Is that because it's Remembrance Month for November 11th and the World Wars in the UK? I think that might be it. Yeah, Shannon gave the answer. Shannon followed instructions always. And I think Jim did too, but let me know if I'm misinterpreting. Ryan says, so much of the early West was pretty far east. Even the initial covered wagon movement was mostly in Pennsylvania. Isn't that strange to hear people talk about the Northwest and like the territories and they mean like the Great Lakes and you're like, what? Right. Yeah. It's like I said, it's so collapsed because there's so much history and we just sort of smush it all together and think it all happened at once. And like, yeah, it definitely developed. Oh, 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. Is that Guy Fawkes? Is that the plot to blow up the monarchy that was not the plot? I don't know. That's not my history. That's not my era. It's definitely way before. So forgive me for being out of the loop on that one. Yes. So as it's gratitude month, like the stream, comment afterwards if you're watching this on the replay. Subscribe if you're new. I'd love to have you in the audience so that I can talk more about books and especially books you've never heard of because that's my specialty. So, yes, Guy Fawkes. Okay. At least I had the association correct. What else is going on in November? Like I said, I'm going to focus on leaving reviews. I got prizes to finish giving away for the launch. I've got my novella prequel to work on with an editor and travel down to California. So those are my big November plans. And lots of tea. There will definitely be lots of tea. That's all I have for you today. I've got lots on the agenda today, so I'm sure I will see some of you elsewhere on YouTube/BookTube. I've also got some in real life things to do, so unfortunately this is going to be a little shorter. But just to let you know, full week for even just my channel. Tomorrow I've got my first Wednesday wrap-up, which I'll be using to discuss my Black Aweenathon and mystery reads for October. And Thursday is my interview with Jenna. Friday is First Friday Productivity Sprint, and I put it a little later after Shannon's because, as we know, Shannon's sprints are very popular this month, and so she might be running a little longer. Yeah, so full week. Hope to see you around, and happy reading, everybody. Happy writing, and toss a coin to your Witcher, even if it's Liam instead of the real Geralt. Just to fling a coin into that pond that I have absolutely no investment in. We'll sign off with that controversial opinion and hope you have a good week, everybody. Bye. Stay safe out there in a book.